Today we are finally putting on the Volk GT-Cs that we picked up, but
we learned something. Well, I think Albert's cursed.
I'm not cursed.
I think he's cursed.
I just happened to misinterpret research. So do we have, let's pull up the circuit lug nuts too.
The tuner lug nuts?
Yeah. It's very important if you have
2NR.
Yeah, the 2NR lug nuts. If you have Volk GT-Cs or AV3s specifically.
Weirdly specific.
I did some research and I misinterpreted the research. I thought internal locking lug nuts would work, which they do. They fit in the wheel.
They fit in the wheel.
But they are not designed because this, like the socket area, the hole for the lug hole for the wheel is actually designed in such a way
to have a tapered internal. So what we ended up running into is we tried to mount the wheels.
So let's take a look. You can see these two.
We tried to mount the wheels, and I was trying to put these 2NR lug nuts on. Yeah. And what was happening is I wasn't getting
a thread.
Yeah, I wasn't catching any threads, and kind of like, what is going on here? So I reached in the space. Well, we had the spacers on, so I reached in the spacer into where the lug is, the lug stud, and I was like, there's not really much coming through here. So maybe it's just these spacers have short studs. I don't know. That's something that could happen. So we pulled these spacers off, and I tried on the hub, and it's the same thing.
Yeah.
They don't fit. Do not use 2NR lug nuts.
You can
with extended studs.
With extended studs.
However, I think even then you might sometimes run into issues I've seen where when you have, so because these are internal, the extended stud can only be so long before it starts reaching into the area where the key goes. And I have run into that where if you have extended studs, sometimes they reach too far and you can't get a good enough bite on this.
And then you won't even be able to torque the wheels down.
Exactly. Yeah, so I have run into that. Or even if you did somehow torque them down, getting them off, you'd probably strip this out really easily. Yeah. So just as a
don't risk it. Yeah, we weighed the pros and cons of whether or not to get extended studs, and it was the clear answer was get Volk.
These. So these are specific. You can see that the internal hex here is deep enough, and this is tapered in, so it will actually fit into.
Yeah, and if you want, if you're unsure about how to find them, you can just search Volk GT-C lug nuts.
Yeah, and that's how we found it. They were 140 bucks.
140
which kind
bucks.
of sucks because you did get the TNRs, the 2NRs, sorry, excuse me, 2NRs for like $20.
We're just going to give these to whoever buys the HREs or a friend or something.
I mean, they're still good lugs. It's not
they're great.
They're circuit sport and they make good stuff.
Yeah.
However, we just can't use them for our purpose.
So let's get the wheels on, and then you can see how the Volks look on the Z.
And we can finally see how the Volks look on the Z.
Finally, we've had them for a minute, so let's get them on.
All right.
All right, we're working on the left front. Bumper came off because we did the hub, if you guys have seen that video.
That made it a lot easier.
The hammer?
No, the hub being off, or the bumper being off to do the hub.
Oh yeah, way easier. So we got the front right on, front left is going on. More importantly, if you ever wanted to see a mystery machine on RPF ones.
No, I don't want to see it. It needs Astro Supremes.
It's gonna get some Astro Supremes. That looks freaking hilarious.
If by hilarious you mean bad, you're right.
Here are the old HREs. If you ever want to see why you shouldn't go to certain tire shops and be careful with your wheels, check out our other video on why our HREs are damaged. Because that was not fun.
No. That's not bad times.
So when I picked up these Volks, if you haven't seen the other videos, the front wheel specs are a 19 by 8.5 plus 30. So I calculated based on what I consider to be perfect fitment, basically like a 9.5 plus 17-ish. Figured if I run a 25 mil of spacer up front, it'll put it to a 19 by 8.5 plus 5, which if you add 5 millimeters, or not 5, 12 to 12.5 millimeters, or a half an inch for the width that you'd be adjusting for in optical calculation, you would have the equivalent of a 9.5 plus 17. So
And if you haven't seen our video on torque sticks, we'll link that somewhere.
yeah,
Albert will link that somewhere.
torque sticks are save your life.
80 foot-pounds. No more.
No more.
Why do we have these here for talking about Volks?
I staged them to take some pictures. These are the wheels that came off. I'm sure you've seen the video.
Thank yous.
So
Yankees.
the Volks are on. Let's take a look.
They look pretty sick.
They do look
honestly.
pretty sick.
Like, honestly,
We just gotta make a couple tweaks to the ride height.
yeah.
I'm actually not mad at the rear right, but the rear left.
That
I
one
think
is definitely a lot
suspension
worse.
needs to settle a little bit.
Yeah.
But oh man, that looks really good on
The wheels
car.
look fantastic on here. They really suit. I mean, like I said, they came out about the time that the 350Z came out, so like they were very of the era, and they look very of the era. They look great on the car.
I'm happy with this.
No, they look great on the car.
I'm happy with this for sure. So our final specs we landed on, you know, these are 19 by 8.5 plus 30 front. I ran a 25 mil spacer, bringing it up to 19 by 8.5 plus 5, which effectively would be a 9.5 plus 17 if you were looking at a 9.5 width. In the rear, I have a 19 by 9.5 plus 24. I ran a 20 mil spacer, which is going to bring it up to a 19 by 9.5 plus 4, which if it were a 10.5 would have been a 10.5 plus 16, which I think is pretty good because we're going to be throwing these little thingies on.
We'll tell you about
We'll
later.
tell you about later. I was
haven't
about to.
gotten them.
I don't want to give away the surprise.
They've been
yet.
in transit for like 6 years now.
6 years.
6 years, approximately.
Yeah.
Like to the day.
But as we said earlier, the GT-C lug nuts had to be on. Something you need to keep in mind with Volk GT-Cs and probably AV3s as well is you really need to get some hub-centric rings.
Yeah, they actually really helped us out a lot when we were putting the wheels on, because otherwise the wheel will sit a little down, and if the wheel sits a little down, it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
to
you
put the wheel up.
really kind of have to center it because of the way these lug nuts are shaped. They have very little play as far as just getting. You can't just lock it on and then
do whatever you do.
Let it tighten up.
Yeah.
So they look great. I'm stoked with it. Eventually I'll run a 255 up front. As you guys know, I've switched to a 275 in the rear. I love the way the tire.
Like the meat on it looks really good.
It looks really good.
Like this side, I am definitely very happy with the height on this side. The other side is too high.
Yeah, we just got to make some tweaks and dial in each corner.
And honestly,
I
mean, this is rolled again out, so yours are fine there.
Oh, I'm not worried about clearance.
Well, I mean, hard dips and stuff. What I'm saying is, it'll camber in on hard dips, so you'll still have plenty of clearance at this height, you know.
Yeah, I think when it the term is squat, right? I think when it squats, it's gonna be okay.
It'll have natural camber, pull it in, and it'll clear the looks real well.
Yeah. So
provided you hit dips that hard.
Right.
Yeah.
So we got the center caps. We'll put them on later. We got to get some new O-rings for them.
Yeah, they're on order. I'm assuming you ordered them.
Yeah, I got them.
So they're on order. We just found some generic. Do you remember the size for the O-rings?
They're 58 millimeters.
Yeah.
So there's actually two O-rings on the Volk GT center caps. There's a smaller one, a smaller diameter, and a larger. We figured the rubber would stretch on the larger. It's 60 millimeter and 58 millimeter.
Yeah.
So we just got a set of 58s, and we're just gonna stretch them.
Yeah, and they should fit on just good, and then we'll get those on once we have them.
Yep. Yeah. And that's about it. So let us know.
We'll eventually get you some rolling shots of this. Eventually.
Yeah. Right now the car is kind of sitting, and we're just fixing everything because it's in complete project mode, and I feel good about the way that this car's coming along, though.
No, it looks really good. It's coming out really nicely.
Yeah,
I'm
and
glad you have real wheels now and not some fake stuff.
Yeah, as opposed to those little funkies right there.
Funkies and out hands, and the Boston weren't fake, I don't think, but like, you know.
Yeah, but they were 20s.
But they were 20s. We wouldn't put that on here.
But
so.
yeah. Well, let us know what you guys think of the wheels if you're planning on running a set, or if you like the 21C, which is the new version, as we've talked about in another video.
Good.
They're really good. I love them. But be sure to leave a comment, make sure to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell. We'll see you in the next one.
We appreciate you guys.